Tortoise, you don't throw it out.
Solid. Oh my, what a...
Call me a giant or call me a 49er. Call me a warrior, cause I follow a code of honor.
What's up guys, this is FightNightsFinest here bringing you guys another online world championship gameplay. This one is in the light division against Mick Mur 36. And yeah, this is a pretty good fight. This one lasted quite a few rounds and he actually gave me a little trouble that I wasn't expecting. You can see there he's rolling with the 90 overall. I don't understand it. It seems like every time I go to search for a fight at a 90 overall, I can never find one. As soon as I drop my overall down, I seem to find tons of fights. So I go in here with an 88 overall instead of a 90, so that leaves him with an advantage. As you can see, we both got that 76 reach, so it's going to be a pretty even matchup. I'm not expecting too much outside fighting of basically running all the time. That's what I'm not expecting in this fight. You can see here, there's my record: 172 wins and 38 losses, 136 knockouts. I'm ranked 55 in the world in the lightweight division at this time, and his record is 68 wins and 14 losses. I believe it's 58 knockouts. However, right here, I wanted to check his PSN name, so I scroll up a bit and instead of watching the rest of the entrants. And like it says there, McMurph 36. So he's in there with the yellow and green trunks and with the red and white as usual. And the first thing I want to do, and most of the time I like to go and pressure people, like immediately pressure them, see what they got. But I said, you know what? Let me do it from a more cautious standpoint. Let me use my defense a little more, because I notice whenever I come in, I get hit and I ends up turning into a brawling fight. By the way, before I go any further, music provided by D Towns Boy. Nobody told me, I didn't know that when you record with S video that yeah, you still need to plug in your audio cable. So we're going ahead and replacing it with better entertainment with some music made by D Towns Boy. So go ahead and check his channel out. By the way, if I sound a little different, I'm not feeling up the part as I usually am. I'm a little sick, got a little cold coming through. So yeah, well, back to the fight. Like I said, I want to be a little more cautious here. As you see me using the jab more, I noticed when you use that jab a lot more, it does open a lot more opportunities instead of just using the power hand and using that straight all the time like most people do. I don't use the straight too often, unless if it's trying to throw a power punch or you throw one at me, or I'm trying to set up some combinations. I'll use the 1-2. But that jab, keep it in his face, it's working out for us. We're pressuring him, but we're not ODing with it as we usually will, where we just try to smother him. We get a nice power straight to the body there. And you know, he's coming forward, but for the most part he is staying on the outside. So by his speed, I could tell that he is an outside fighter by the amount of damage he's doing, even though my damage is pretty low there. His punches aren't hurting too much, so I'm thinking either he's an outside fighter or an unorthodox fighter, because his speed is actually pretty good. So what we want to prevent him from doing is going to his right, because he likes to move to his right. We like to our left, so this is going to work in a favorable advantage if we had the same speed, if we was both inside fighters. However, he's obviously a lot faster than me. As I try to taunt him at the end of the round, see if he'll come forward, see if he'll come in and stop moving on the outside, so I'm going to see if he's a disciplined fighter. So things that I noticed at the end of round 1. The jab's working pretty good. Whenever we smother him, we're able to land a lot of punches. He's not good at taking body punches. Once we go in there and start throwing to the body, he stumbles a bit and slows him down. So those are the things, those are going to be the keys to victory. That jab, the 1-2s to the body, smothering him, and not really focusing on trying to outscore him on the scorecard. I won that first round, but you can't really hear it because there's no audio to the fight. So he leads off with a nice 1-2 there, beautiful 1-2 jab straight, and I'm trying to pressure him now. Now I want to completely smother and see how he will take it. Right now I'm still checking out his tendencies. Normally I use the first half of the fight, first 4 rounds, sometimes 5 rounds, to check to see what the opponent's gonna do. I like to win these rounds even though you're checking them out. You guys should probably do the same thing, check them out, but still do enough to win the rounds. Don't overdo it, don't exaggerate with it, try to keep your stamina. By the way, since I took boosters, I don't have my stamina, my endurance, and my conditioning boost. And so it's basically strength, speed, toughness, and reflexes. And I'm rolling without a few things that I normally need. So I noticed whenever we cut off that lane or he gets that step on us with his right foot, when he's outside of ours, we're able to land that jab. And you know, he's doing a good job of staying on the outside right now. But keeping that jab in his face with an orthodox stance is do justice for us. Normally I like to come out in an unorthodox stance and use the right hand and throw that jab and see how my opponent takes it. Helps me figure out their tendencies. And you know, by looking at his record, I could tell he wasn't too bad. He wasn't a bad fighter at all, actually. And he actually is giving me a bit of trouble right now. Every time I try to pop the jab, he might send off a quick counter with a step. And just trying to trap him up against the ropes is a little difficult at the moment. So we need to go with some body work there as we land a nice jab, left hook. By the way, I put my hook up to a 20, so my fighter is completely maxed out. I try to use my head movement and stuff, some of the stuff I put in the defensive tutorials. But because he was on the outside, it was a little more difficult. Now we finally trap him up into the corner, and that's when we're able to do some major damage. So I'm noticing, yeah, when we smother him, we're able to land whatever we want. When we trap him in that corner, we're going to go to work. That's where we're going to put in the most work. So things that are working for us through this round is that side step right uppercut counter punch. That's working. Jab still working fine. Smother him against the ropes isn't working too well because he escapes. But once we cut off that left, well, his right, our left escape lane for him, we're able to land that jab and land a lot of punches. So when, as you see right there, that angle that we had, that's the angle we want, not this angle we have here. And he switches over to southpaw here. But that angle that we had, that's what we want. That's what we want to catch him with, that angle. We want to always have the advantage on the angle, because that will allow us to catch up to him and allow us to throw that left hand and land it with success. So now he's moving to his, yeah, he's still moving to his right, but because he's in a southpaw stance, it's a little more difficult. Normally the straight is the weakness of the southpaw, but it also is the weakness of the orthodox fighter. So he's landing that straight quite a bit now, and he's using it a lot more than he did in the first 2 rounds. So southpaw stance is actually pretty good fighter, and right now it's giving me a little trouble. As you can see, when he lands that straight, I'm having a little trouble getting inside now. I'm having trouble pushing him up against the ropes. But whenever we throw that jab, he goes straight back, as you see there with that back step, or he might walk backwards whenever we throw that jab out. So we go with a nice right hook to the body there. Missed a counter right hook to the body, which should have been a counter punch. However, like I said, we missed it. So we're trying to smother him now, see if we could force him to back up. But like I said, every time we use the jab, we will get him to back up. This is something I should have done more in the fight. You notice a lot more of the mistakes you make whenever you watch it and play back. And we get a right uppercut to the body a little earlier, and then a right uppercut counter to the chin. And we stun him, and he backs up against the ropes, but he comes out of the stun state. But we push him right back in the stun state with a right uppercut, and we put him on the canvas. Excuse me, for the first time. And we slap his face to the other side with a nice left hook. And he's trying to stay up on the ropes. However, he drops for them once we step back. So it's his first knockdown of the fight. And I felt I basically got everything figured out. Smother him. Use caution when we're trying to put him against the ropes. Once we're on the rope, once he's on the ropes, go to our left, cut off his escape lanes for him to stop walking. He doesn't ever drift back to his right. Well, his left, our right. He doesn't drift back to our right. And I got a pretty nasty cut here, and that's gonna lead to some trouble, as you'll see later on in the fight. However, I'm up 3 rounds to 0. And that jab is working. Once we cut off his escape lanes, we're able to land our combinations, and that's what we're trying to do. As he gets a nice stun with a power straight to the head, and we throw a couple of power straights to keep him off of us, back him down a little, get him away from us so we can back up a little bit, use our defense, and then we come right back with a beautiful right counter uppercut and check his chin. And then I don't know what he was trying to do. Maybe he was trying to taunt me to come inside. Maybe he didn't think that stun was going to happen. I don't know. Maybe he was coming in for a clinch. Either way, it leads to his second knockdown in the fight in the 4th round. So that's 2 knockdowns throughout 4 rounds so far. And we're basically in control of this fight. His outside fighter isn't working for him. And you know, the orthodox stance isn't doing him any justice at all. As he continues to back up straight, that jab, once we put that jab in his face, I mean, he has got some counters off of it, but for the most part, it's putting in the damage that we needed to. It's forcing him to go back against the ropes, as we should have stepped in here instead of letting him drift off to his right, and we closed the gap a bit. But like I said, we should have cut off that escape leg to his left. I mean, to our left, his right. And that would have kept him in that corner, and we could have been able to probably put him on the canvas for a third time. Now, his punches aren't doing as much damage as mine, considering the fact I have 98 strength. All I have to do is land some well-placed combinations, as we get a beautiful, beautiful left hook counter. And he studs us here after delivering a counter right hand, which was the straight, of course, and landed some well-placed combinations. And he puts us down on the canvas for the first time in the fight. So, okay, now he's giving us a little trouble now. Now things are starting to get dangerous. Once I don't cut off the ring, once he's able to use his speed, things become dangerous. Once we let him counter, that's where stuff is becoming dangerous. As you can see here, the southpaw stance is giving us a lot of trouble, because we're not cutting off the ring. We're not getting away from that straight hand. As you see here, I'm trying to use the counter that I put in my tutorial video. If you guys haven't checked out those tutorial videos, go ahead. Covers all the basics of defense, how to get away from that straight hand. But we try to use that counter, but it's not something I practice. It works. I've done it several times, but it hasn't been something I practice lately. Usually I haven't been playing Fight Night too often, so my counters is a little sloppy, especially that counter that we have there. I told you it's a difficult one to master, where you sidestep to your left in this case, and then you move your head down by pressing L1 and then moving it like 2 o'clock on the left analog stick in order to create that counter. But we're going to the head instead of the body when he's throwing that straight, and that's why our eyes cut so bad, and that's why we're getting hit so much by that right hand. So he stays in southpaw stance because he's realizing, okay, it's working. He's not able to stop it. In order for us to win this fight, we're gonna have to make an adjustment. So we smother in here. We go with what's been working. We try to go with what's been working, but we're missing a few elements here. 1, we're not throwing enough hooks. 2, we're getting counted way too often, as you see there, as he counted me with a straight. And right here, we're fortunate that he backs up there to give his stamina a chance to recover. And we stay back on the outside, trying to recoup, trying to let our health regain just enough before we could jump back into the action. So we try to keep us off there with a missed power straight, but you know, it puts the fear in his heart. It's like he hears daddy's footsteps, so he wants to back up some more. That jab and those straights, it's causing him to back up, especially those jabs, and especially all the body work. It puts him back on it makes him feel defensive, so he starts backing up more. So as you can see here, once we start cutting off that left lane, and he stuns us again with a power straight, we just have not been able to get away from that power hand. It's a little tricky to get away from that power straight when you don't practice those things that I taught in my tutorial videos. This is proof of it, as we get a nice power straight there. Wasn't a counter, but as you can see there, we try to go for the counter again, but we keep going to the head instead of to the body, because in the during the fight, I'm leaning it at 10 o'clock on the left analog stick with the L1 and left stick. I'm leaning at 10 o'clock. We're not timing him when he's coming in, and we're leaning in the wrong direction. So we're going up to the head instead of to the body, which is where we want to go. All you have to do is, once it gives you the counter opportunity, all you have to do is let go of L1, and you'll be able to throw a shot to the head. However, yeah, we're not doing what it takes at this point in order to win the fight. So he's landing that straight consecutively, and he's spamming it a bit now, and it's getting quite annoying. So right there at the end of the round, I say, you know, I'm confident in my southpaw game. I've been practicing it for the last week. I've been practicing it quite a bit, fighting the southpaw stance. So I'm confident in my right jab, and I think, you know, maybe we should go for it, as we're cut all over our face, right side, left side, our nose, everything is bloodied up. So I'm thinking maybe we should switch stances, get some of that damage off of us, and, you know, maybe use that jab and try to keep him out. But then I thought to myself, you know, what we've been doing is working so far. I just need to make a few adjustments. Right now, his jab isn't a factor. It's that straight hand in the orthodox stance. If we can make him feel like he doesn't need a fight in the southpaw stance, if we could switch him back to that orthodox stance, if we could shut down that left hand straight that he's throwing, as we get stunned again. I believe this is like the 5th stun we had during the fight. Thank God his might have good toughness and his boxer doesn't punch too hard, but we keep him off of there with a power straight. We could have used that push that we used a little in our last fight versus Vincati, but we're not thinking about that right now. Right now we want to do what's been working. Cut off his left lane, back him into the corner as I make a stupid move there, stepping to my right when I should have stepped to my left in order to cut off that escape lane, as we give him a push, try to keep him off of us for a bit. You know, I'm figuring we got to do what's been working. Just make a few adjustments and see what else we can land that's going to work. As we miss a push power straight there, and he comes with another straight, and that straight hand is killing us right now. So now we're starting to shut it down a bit. I noticed the double hooks are working. The jabs and mixing up, going upstairs and downstairs is working. That's why we're using those hooks so much, because we're seeing it works. So we're pressuring him a lot here, and we get a beautiful right uppercut, something that's been working for us the whole fight. Just something we needed to time, and we're using the jab now. We make the adjustments needed. We throw the jab. We start throwing those left and right hooks, and we use what's been working for us the whole time, and lick my glove as we hit him with a right uppercut and slides right up his face, tongue out when you see him when he goes down. And I guess he loved the taste of my glove, all the blood that's coming from my eye, as we put him on the canvas for the 3rd time in this fight. So we make the key adjustments needed by using the jab. Everything that's been working for us, that jab has been working, the counter right uppercut is working, and those double hooks is working. So now we're just trying to apply pressure and see if we can put him out of his misery in this fight. And he's still not southpaw stance, but we're backing him down with the jab, and we're using high and low combinations up top with hooks, downstairs with uppercuts. With hooks, and then look for that counter uppercut whenever it's open. So we try to push him off of us a bit, use the power straight, however we miss, but how we get that one right there. So we're backing him down, and you know, while we're coming forward and we're using our punch combinations, it's starting to scare him. We didn't cut him off to our left, but however we do run out of time at the end of this round. So I basically got everything figured out. Things I need to do: jab more, keep that jab pumping in his face 24/7, use those hooks, and look for the counter right uppercut, and then we should be able to win this fight. High-low combinations is also a factor that we're gonna need. So he's still in that orthodox stance, and he's figuring it. You know, it's been working on fight. It's the best thing I got, and he's not making any adjustments here. So since he hasn't changed from the first, an adjustment hasn't been made since he's been knocked down in the 3rd round after when he switched to southpaw. There's nothing else he's gonna do. If he doesn't make an adjustment, I'm obviously gonna win the fight, because as we're pressuring him here more. But I'm obviously gonna win the fight because he hasn't done anything different. I've figured out everything that I need to do. As you see, we're using all the factors, all the key things that we needed to in order to win the fight. Those double hooks, pressuring him, keeping him in the corner, and we get a beautiful power straight to the head. And I try to taunt him a little more, see if he comes in, because I'm honestly getting a little sick of chasing him around the ring. So we put our glove right in his face, and we put him on the canvas for the 4th time. All the factors that we had that I stated was working during the fight, we put them all together in this round, and it got us our 4th knockdown of the fight. So we need one more knockdown to win, and that will basically give us a knockout, another KO on our victory, a KO on our record, and also get us a victory in this fight, as I used the left uppercut straight to the head, trying to see if I could keep on him and keep that pressure coming. And I've been practicing throwing my left uppercut, because normally I throw a hooker cut or a bolo or rip, whatever you want to call it. Basically, it's like a combination of a hook and an uppercut. I guess it's called like I guess you could say it's a 3/4 uppercut. But yeah, I've been practicing that a little, and I've been getting some more counters in the fight. And we're hurt here, but you know, I've realized I had a fight earlier and I got knocked down because I decided to keep coming forward. But you know, our health is getting pretty low, but our stamina is still pretty good. And this is what you get when you play pressure fighting. You have all these cuts and continuously getting hit, but you know, it's working. So we're gonna have to keep with what's working. We can't switch now. He's gonna eat us alive with that straight. So he's back in his, if you haven't noticed already, he's back in his orthodox stance. So we're looking for our other combinations, our sidestep, right uppercut, jab, straight to the head. Either way, we basically feel we got this fight on lockdown. We got 4 knockdowns in the fight. We won, I believe it's, well, here's the scorecard. We won 5 rounds out of 7 so far. So he only won 2 rounds. I believe those were knockdown rounds. Now in here I decide, you know, let's let him come to us a little more. Let's see if we can't create some opportunities on our own by backing up a bit. So we use the jab early on in the round and throw a nice uppercut there. And you know, he's missing punches. We're gonna let him tire himself out a bit before we come forward. See if we can create some counter opportunities as well. So after we shut down that southpaw straight, he has no choice but to fight with his original style, something that he's practiced, something that, you know, he's trained himself to do. So we put him on the ropes here, and if he's gonna do this, all I gotta do is just do what's been working the whole fight, and that's basically use my combinations, keep the pressure on him, jab, since his defense isn't doing him any justice at this point. Just use the jab, look for the side step, right uppercut, and look for our inside fighter combo neutralizer, and bam, we get the 5th knockdown with a beautiful chin check with the right uppercut canvas. That's the punch that we was looking for to finish him off the whole fight. I was hoping it would come in the form of a counter. However, it didn't come in the counter. We just hit him with the right uppercut, and we end up getting the victory here. You can't get up on the 5th time. So that was a good fight. That's basically how you pressure fight on this game. As you can see there, McMurray some hate mail with well done, good fight, as you can see in the message. At the end of this video, you're gonna see me try to send him a message, but connection is so slow after a fight until you get back into the main menu. But as I scroll through the rounds here, as you can see, our punch accuracy was way better than his, and we end up taking this win. But thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe if you're gonna be active for my channel, if you want to be part of my gaming experience. But leave some likes on the video. If we can get 10 likes, I would truly appreciate that. If we can get over 15 comments, that will also be great. This is your boy Kid Ray. This is your boy FightNightsFinest signing off.